When we look at the evolution of masculinity, it has changed. And luckily, we're in a stage of our life now where it's okay. We can adapt based off of the resources and everything we have to be the best that we need to be.
There comes a time in man's life he has to fight his demons, change his perspective, leave behind the life of lies and scheming. When your family's at stake, there's no impunity. Every choice he makes can trickle down to his community. Building foundations from hard work and patience. These are the lessons we'll be passing down for generations. A place where men won't just accept their fate quietly. Welcome to the modern dad society.
You're listening to My Dad DeShazer. Welcome to the society. Bye.
Welcome back to the Modern Dad Society podcast, where we understand that our children learn from our actions, not just their words. We believe in personal development, highlighting the powerful influence of staying present and making conscious choices and shaping our lives and the legacy we pass down to the next generation. I am your host, DeShazer, and like always, take that deep breath in, hold it, and exhale, being present in this very moment, the gratitude in your soul and love in your heart. But today I want to talk about something that I know can be pretty controversial. And I know that some men, again, since we're talking about healing, I know that some men feel that what I'm going to talk about when it comes to masculinity in men, they feel that there is a important aspect of themselves that has to be masculine, right? And you should be, because one thing that our children and you know, the importance of why they say presence, the father's presence is important, is because of that masculine energy. Okay, we were created to protect. That was our job. And so it's important to have that. But when we look at the evolution of masculinity, it has changed. And luckily, we're in a stage of our life now where it's okay. We can adapt based off of the resources and everything we have to be the best that we need to be. And so the concept of masculinity has undergone a significant transformation over the years. And the traditional notions of masculinity often emphasize the strength and stoicism and dominance. However, contemporary understanding of the masculinity has evolved and encompassed more of a broader, inclusive perspective. And so this evolution is not just a societal trend, but it's a pathway for more of a fulfilling, impactful experience in fatherhood. And it helps us embrace more of a holistic approach when it comes to our relationship with our children. So when we look at traditional view of masculinity, we look at things like, for example, emotional resilience. So men were expected to be emotionally tough, often, suppressing the feelings to maintain that strength. So regardless of how we felt, right, we were supposed to make sure that we keep it all together as men to keep pushing forward. Another thing is the provider role, right? We are here to provide. That is our job, to provide. And so there was a primary expectation was that men should be the breadwinners, focusing on the financial support while often being emotionally distanced, which caused a lot of issues between the connection between, child and father. Another one is physical toughness. We always, men always have this alpha mentality when it comes to how we have the relationship with each other. And, for good reason. If you look back, any movie that you see, whether it's some medieval movie or movies about, an army, soldiers and stuff like that, always portrayed big, brawly dudes with tattoos, who look like they can tear you apart with their hands. So this is the physical toughness is the ability to protect and defend. And this was seen as a paramount attributes. And then also to authority and control. So men were typically seen as the head of the household, making decisions and exerting control over family matters. Again, with, rightful reasons. People won't typically mess with the family if the man is there. When we look at this idea of masculinity. We have to see it in the eyes more of a shifting paradigm. So, a new understanding of masculinity starts with understanding where we are today, right? So, as society progresses, these traditional views are being challenged and redefined. And the modern man is no longer confined to the old stereotypes. Instead, masculinity is being reimagined. People want to get upset when they see the new Fresh Prince series, right? If you've seen it, right? Bel Air. I love that show. People are upset. They're like, yo, this is not like it was. What's wrong with Carlton? Carlton's on drugs. He this. That's why they said reimagine. Okay. This is not a remake. Okay. So we're not remaking this idea of masculinity. We're reimagining it based off of where we are in modern times. I think the Bel Air is a great show because now you're capturing the audience of the younger generation. Okay. You're being caught up in the modern time. So this is the same thing we have to look at masculinity. We have to look at masculinity as being able to look at where we are today. How can we utilize our resources, utilize our education, utilize wisdom of others to figure out what masculinity means today? So for example, emotional intelligence, recognize the importance of understanding and expressing emotions. Fathers who are emotionally available can create stronger bonds with their children and model healthy behavior. To me, this is what it looks like to have masculinity, being able to emotionally regulate. For those of you who are married, who has a spouse, that being able to yell and assert yourself so heavily is not necessarily looked at in a positive way with your spouse. And so emotional regulation, being able to know when it's time to be quiet, being able to know when you're wrong, this is masculinity. This is confidence. Because if you have to yell just to get your point across, or you always have to be right, well, then we're looking at more self-esteem issues. Okay. So a confident man knows that he needs to be gentle with his wife, and he needs to be able to emotionally regulate, to treat her with the respect that women deserve. Then you have shared responsibilities. Being able to balance those shared responsibilities with your spouse is very important. Not taking everything on at once. We need a father that's here, not a father that's done all he can as long as he can until he became medically, unable to do anything, or he passes away, because, he wasn't taking care of his health. But being able to properly and maturely have responsibilities that can be balanced between, you and your partner. I think it was Ray DeLeo that said that, a good leader knows how to delegate. He knows when he cannot take on certain responsibilities or when he's not good at something. So he delegates that work. It's the same thing, man. We are here, this is a family business. Okay. We may not be selling products. Okay. But we are branding our business. We are making sure that we are building a legacy that's going to last for generations. Another one is mental and physical well-being. So health it's not just about physical strength. Okay. It's not about, it's also about mental and emotional well-being as well. Fathers who prioritize self-care and mental health can be more supportive in their families. So yes, it's cool to, have all the muscles and this, that, but if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not eating right. Okay. I know a lot of fathers who, come home every day after work and they want to drink a beer, maybe smoke some tree, or whatever the case may be, that allows them to disconnect from their work life. And I talked about work-life balance before. We talked about how you can transition from work to home. You definitely want to check that out. I'll put the link to that episode as well in the bio so you can see that. But it's important to have a healthy outlet as well. So coming home and drinking, whatever the case may be, playing video games, these are all ways that, it's almost like synesthesia, right? I'm synesthesia. It's almost like being able to, you know, um, uh, numb yourself to whatever reality was outside your home. Um, so mental and physical well-being is very important, right? Mental aspect too. Don't forget. Then you have the empathy and compassion. And so emphasizing empathy and nurturing qualities as, qualities as strength. Fathers who demonstrate compassion teach their children the importance of kindness and understanding. And again, I can't tell you how important this is when it comes to demonstrating what it means to be kind. Someone cuts you off right on the road, you may be quick to want to give them the finger or cuss them out. But how is that really teaching our children, how to live their life? Because we need to act out of love. And we all know, come on, if you don't know by now, just because something happens to you out there doesn't mean it's about you. Okay. We're a part of whatever scenario is being put in place, but it's not always about you. And so we have to be aware of that and be more compassionate because our children are watching us. And this is the things that we're teaching them. So the impact on fatherhood is very important. We have to realize that the most important part is having stronger relationships. So fathers who embrace a holistic view of masculinity are more likely to form more deeper and more meaningful connections with their children by being emotionally present. They can provide the support and guidance their children needs. They make great role models when they're actually being masculine in modern times, as what I previously discussed. And so by challenging outdated norms, we as fathers can set powerful examples for our children. Sons learn that being a man includes being Our sons can learn that being a man, includes being caring and emotionally intelligent, while daughters can see that men can be supportive partners and allies instead of just aggressive and always demanding and controlling. Okay. And this will all create a more healthy family dynamic because balance is important. When we approach this idea of masculinity, we want to promote a more healthier relationship between our family. And so when fathers are active participants in all aspects of the family life, it leads to more of a harmonious, supportive home environment. So like I said, I know it's good that, it's our job to be breadwinners. We go out and we attack the world and making sure we're bringing back the resources our family needs. But trust me when I tell you, in today's times, with the technology that we're dealing with the internet, there are so many different ways to provide the monetary resources in our family without feeling that we have to work 40, 50 hours a week. And if I can really help fathers understand that, then I think that, I strongly believe that we'll have stronger connections with our children and we'll change the trajectory of what it looks like for a father not being present. Because I heard someone the other day say, this guy on Insta, he's an influencer and he has kids. And he said, look, I'm hustling and grinding for my kids, getting this money. They may not see me, but they're going to appreciate it when they see that they've been taken care of financially. And that is very far from the truth. Yeah, they can appreciate all the things you've been able to provide for them, maybe like the, nice quality private school or, nice clothes or whatever the case may be. But especially when children are younger and they're craving your attention, I'm not talking about necessarily high school is a little bit different. You could be a little bit more busy during that time, while they're at school, stuff like that. But even with that, you want to be there for the games. You want to be there for the events. They appreciate that stuff like that. They will never forget. And so we have to be careful when we start getting into this mindset of, I'm just going to hustle, get all this money. I heard it like this. They said, stop forcing things and use the force. I love it. When we want certain things in life, we will be able to to attract those things to us effortlessly. But if we're hustling, always feeling that we got to go, yeah, we may get the things we want, but it's not going to be as natural as it would be if we allow the universe, God, the Most High, to work with us instead of us working against us. Because a lot of times we may be thinking we're doing right, but maybe the Most High doesn't want us to be taking that job or want us to be spending this much time outside the home, And so my wife has let me know multiple times when I have a motorcycle ministry now, and I'm the president of motorcycle ministry. So I have a group of guys that are depending on me, but I have to be able to make sure that I'm not taking too much time away from my family and giving it to that family, because that's a family of choice. We're all, it's like a brotherhood. It is a brotherhood. It's a family of choice. But one thing I always teach the fathers and the men that are part of my organization is that do not put this club before your family, because at the end of the day, our family's been with us. Our family is our foundation. And so I always try to make sure that I educate and, influence that and stuff like that when it comes to that. So we need to brace the evolution of masculinity. And to brace this evolution concept of masculinity, fathers can educate themselves. So read books. What you're doing right now is watching a podcast. So that you have some level of awareness and, consciousness of what you need to be doing in development within your family. And so you could attend workshops, which I will have workshops coming up in the near future. Engage in discussions about the modern masculinity of fatherhood. Again, everything I do, I provide that within our community so we can have that discussion within our community. You want to seek support too. Again, join a fatherhood community. Never feel ashamed to get counseling or therapy. I feel like every father should constantly have therapy. Okay. Even more than church. Oh yeah, I said it. Even more than church. Church is important, but church is about community. Okay. You go and you serve, and it's about community. But therapy, counseling, okay, coaching, whatever that looks like to you, it's about working on your personal development, your own psychology. Okay. And that's very important when you are leading a family. So like I said, church is great. But to me, I feel like having that one-on-one with somebody, that coach, someone to keep you accountable, is much more important. And so I say that to say that I know a lot of fathers may feel ashamed, or they may not feel like they need therapy or counseling when nothing's happening, but that's the time to get it the best. My wife, we used to coach, we used to work with marriages, and people always used to come to us after the marriage is falling apart. But yet when it was fine, they're like, oh, we got this. So never get in this I got this mindset. Okay, everybody needs something. Greatest billionaires and leaders of this world has a mentor. Okay, they have some type of connection with someone that gives them that therapy. You want to also model the behavior. So demonstrate the values of empathy and emotional intelligence in partnerships every day in your everyday life. Like I said, our children are seeing everything, so they are watching us. And I see my son. He is growing up and watching everything I do, even the girls, which bugs me a little bit. I got some feminine girls, which I love, but then my son sometimes will pucker his lip up a little bit when he's upset and kind of sway his hips. So we're working on that. And, that's why I usually try to bring him close to me a lot of the time so he can see what a man looks like, how he acts, how he conducts himself. And so the last thing I want to say too, when it comes to masculinity, is make sure that you have open communication. One of the biggest things that men like to do to people, because our voices are stronger and there's more bass in our voice, is gaslighting. We cannot gaslight our family. If someone wants to speak up, and I'm be the first person to say it's something I'm constantly working on. If someone doesn't like some rules that I set in place with my family, I have to be able to be open to hear their concerns. I have to be able to be willing to take their opinions and, their ideas and, process that and put those in place without thinking that everything needs to go my way. And so having that open communication allows for your children and your spouse to tell you how they feel about how you are, like an evaluation, right? Like this is, it's like a business evaluation. Your family, I don't know if you ever worked at a job, but Your job sometimes will do these evaluations to tell you how your progress has been. And so that's what your family is there for. Your family is going to give you that evaluation to tell you how you've been. And you have to be willing to be open to hear and allow them to communicate and express their thoughts and feelings freely. So the evolution of masculinity is a journey towards a more inclusive and fulfilling way of being, right? And by embracing this holistic view, us as fathers can not only enhance our own lives, but also positively impact our children and our families. As we continue to redefine what it means to be a man as we go through times, and there's a lot going on in the world, and then we have the next generation coming up too, which I hope I have some younger generations listening. Generation Zs are having babies now, so there are young fathers out there. And, I want to share this idea with you so you understand that just because masculinity looked one way to your father or your father's father doesn't necessarily mean it has to look the same way today, okay? And so we need to create a world where future generations can grow up with a healthier, more balanced perspective of gender roles and relationships. And this shift is not just beneficial, but essential for creating strong, resilient families and communities. We are the leaders, gentlemen. You are listening to this podcast, which means you are one of the leaders of today. And so my goal is to educate you, to inspire you, to give you the tools and the knowledge that you can utilize later on out there and be the leaders that we need you to be. My nonprofit, for a quick second, is called the Knights of Patriarch. And what we do is we fortify the patriarch system by making sure that we're holding men accountable, fathers accountable. Because if you look at movies like, Disney loves doing it. A lot of these shows love taking the father out of the home or making the father look like he's just goofy and nerdy and just all over the place until the end of the movie, and then he gets it together, right? Sometimes there's no father at all. And so we have to make sure that we're changing the narrative. We have to make sure that we are the ones today that are changing the narratives of what it looks like to be a man, to be a father in modern times. So I wanted to share that with you today. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, I will be coming back. We're playing around with video. I don't know if I'm going to do 3 videos per week or 1 video per week, but we're going to try. We're going to start out 1 video and we're going to release it on YouTube. And this will be my longest video. Then the other 2 more days that, like I said, we're still doing 3 days a week. The other 2 days will be a lot shorter, but I did want to let you know that. Again, I'm not going to be on TikTok and X and Instagram like I was, but I will post. If you see me on LinkedIn, you see me on if you add our Facebook group, I will make sure that we're posting on there as well. If you have any discussions, any questions, please reach out to me. If you have any ideas of what you want me to talk about, or you have advice, I would love to do an advice session for fathers. You have an advice, you're confused, you don't know what to do, ask me. I remember when I lived in Georgia, I had a good friend of mine. He was staying with us for a little bit, and I had to go to him every second for advice for my kids. And I'm blessed to be able to have the knowledge now to be able to share this knowledge. But I'm telling you, I should bring him on one day so he can validate that. But yeah, I used to have to go to him for every little thing when it comes to dealing with my children. And so I'm glad that I'm able to be used now as a vessel to help you who is listening right now. So welcome, YouTube. I am here. I am here to stay. I'm going to be joining you on this YouTube world, YouTube universe. And for those of you who are just listening and you want to see the video, make sure you can go check out my handsome mug on YouTube right now. Make sure you are liking and subscribing so you know when the videos are coming out. Make sure you're commenting too, as well. This helps with the algorithms on all platforms. So being engaged and being active helps so much. So I always like to say as well is be conscious and stay present always. Y'all have a great rest of the day.